Irashaimase. Hello and welcome to Fataris' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fataris. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this week we have Castle of Shikigami 3. What kind of taste will it have? Let's get cooking and find out. From developer Alpha Systems, Castle of Shikigami 3 originally released to arcades in 2006. It will receive ports to the Xbox 360 and the Nintendo Wii in 2007, and the Wii version is the only one up to this point that had released outside of the Japanese region. Now fast forward to March of 2025, and the final entry of the Castle of Shikigami trilogy makes its way to Steam. This is a great bullet hell, especially if you enjoy games that have lots of characters and different playstyles. It's an easy recommend, especially for fans of the series. Although it is on the shorter side, and I do feel the price point is a little high for what feels like a relatively low effort port. But with all that said, I have really enjoyed my time with the game so far, and for at least me personally, this is a recommend. With all that said, we find ourselves at the main menu. So there are a couple ways you can play the game. So you can play it single player, and you have a couple options for that. You can either play it on the left side or the right side with the one-piece side or the two-piece side options here. If you're looking to play the game two-player, then you'll pick the dual player start. This allows you to play the game two-player simultaneous, and that is how we're going to be showing it off for you today. Selecting that option, we're taken to this game mode screen here. Here we can set what kind of game mode we're looking for. So you've got easy as options, extremes, and then normal. We will be showing the game off in normal. Then you have the stage demo. So one of the things that's really unique about the Castle of Shikigami series is you have so many different characters and the interactions between the characters and the bosses. But if you have stage demo turned off, then it will disable those interactions. So it depends if you're looking for a more shorter experience or if you're looking for the narrative experience, whether you'd want that on. Then you can also change character voices or set your background music to either the original or the new. After you've selected those settings, we're taken to the character select, and here you can choose between any of the 10 characters that are available in the game. You only see 9 here, but there is a secret 10th character. If you go to the witch Fumiko and press the down button, then you unlock the secret character. But for our purposes today, we'll be picking these two characters to show off the game with. Once you've selected your character, you actually get to choose one of your two different, basically charged attacks, as the Castle of Shikigami series calls them, the Shikigami attacks. So if you've played previous Castle of Shikigami, you know what to expect here. So for our purposes today, we'll set both of these characters to type 1. Then if you had the stage demos turned on, you would get a brief tutorial and then character introduction. But with those turned off, we dive right into the action. So this is a standard vertical scrolling shoot 'em up as far as controls are concerned. As far as what we have for attacks, so you have your primary shot, and it's possible to set this to the rapid button, or you could tap fire the main shot. However, if you hold down your main shot button, then you'll activate your Shikigami attack, and that's going to be different for every character. And for some characters, the Shikigami attack will actually stop them in their tracks. Others, it'll slow you down. Some, you'll actually be quite fast in your movement. It just depends on which character and which type you choose. So, as I mentioned, there are a lot of playstyles there. But in addition to those two attacks, each character also has a bomb. And it's unique to the characters themselves. There isn't one standard bomb. So for the character on the left, hers is a time stop. The character on the right is a more like standard kind of talisman bomb, which we'll go and use against this mid-boss here. So for the time stop, it will actually literally just stop time. So at this point you can use her shots to clear enemy bullets and deal damage to the enemy. So as far as the bosses are concerned, they're usually multi-segmented, where you've got multiple health bars at the top that you need to defeat through. Each stage is broken up into 2 sections, and you'll encounter a boss in the middle of that section. So we're just fought the boss that would be at the end of stage 1-1, and now we move on to stage 1-2, and there'll be another boss at the end of stage 1-2. And that's the overall flow of the game. So as far as the character, or rather your hits, are concerned, you do have a life system, or that's you can see at the bottom of the screen. Each character has 3 life, basically 3 hits, and then you would continue. Throughout the course of your gameplay, as you earn points, collect coins, etc., you will replenish lives that you've lost. As in addition to that, you'll also replenish bombs in the same way, and it's possible through the settings to go and make things a little bit easier by increasing that recharge rate. So now let's talk about another one of the features that is really unique to the Castle Shikigami series. So the game has what it refers to as the tension bonus system. So the closer we are to or closer in proximity we are to basically any kind of threat, it gives us bonuses to a score. So if you're closer to an enemy, you'll go from start a multiplier of ×2 all the way up to ×8. And at ×8, if you're using your regular shot in that high tension state, you'll actually, in addition to some big points, you'll also be firing a powered up version of your shot, which will turn red. You can also activate that by burning a bomb and turning on what's referred to as the high tension max system. And for the first boss here, going and using those systems, she's a cakewalk to get through. So we go and see the first stage defeated. When you complete a stage, you do get a summary of your gameplay there with your time bonus, the items you've gotten, as well as how many times you got to ×8, etc. And then we move on to the next stage. So now we're in stage 2-1. So the tension bonus system, when you do use the a high tension max, which it will use a bomb for that, but in this state, all the enemies that we defeat will give us ×8, we'll get extra coins, and our shot is that powered up red version that we can get by skimming really close to enemies or enemy shots, but especially where that's your normal shot, and depending on which character you're playing, you might be moving kind of fast. That is a little tricky to graze shots. It is easier to go and do with some characters' focuses, but it's not always the easiest thing to pull off in the heat of the moment. And there you have it. That's Castle Shikigami served up for your enjoyment. So as far as the minus flavors are concerned here, so the biggest thing is the game is a little on the shorter side. It just has 5 stages total, and even if the stages are broken up into 2 parts, with a boss fight in the middle and then a boss fight at the end, generally things will go pretty fast, especially depending on where you have the difficulty sliders on the game set. And in addition to that, it's not one that there's no online leaderboard, so as far as challenging for score, there's not going to be a whole lot there for you, let's see, unless you're looking to go and 1cc this for personal reasons. But on the plus flavors that are concerned, it's a great Castle Shikigami title, so if it's a series that you've enjoyed, then this is, like I said, an easy recommend. It's a solid bullet hell with lots of characters to choose between, and those characters, especially the interactions you have between the bosses, or if you're playing 2-player, the other characters, is a lot of the highlight. So if you're looking to go and see all the stories, you're going to be playing through the game at least 10 times, and with the multiplayer, even more. Supposedly there's up to 55 different scenarios that you can have with the various character combinations. And then you've got some really enjoyable systems here, so it's a bit disappointing there isn't some online leaderboards, because with systems like the high tension and the tension bonus systems available, there's a lot of opportunities for great scoring attacks here, so that's a little bit disappointing. And as I mentioned, this is a little bit of a lower effort port, so there are some things that it would have been nice to have present. Even though the Nintendo Wii version did have an English dub, that dub is not present here on this version, so that's something to keep in mind. So with all that said, Castle Shikigami is definitely a recommend from the chef, but depending, maybe it might be one that would be alright to go and wait for a sell on. Also, one thing to go and note, the publisher Cosmomachia has released a lot of their titles on the Nintendo Switch as well as Steam, so there's the chance that this release will also make its way to that platform at some point in the future. So definitely, let's hope for that, and if that comes to pass, that also would be an awesome platform to play it on. Alright, and with that, we find ourselves at the end of this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope you have a wonderful week yourself, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.